Welcome to the Batesville City Council, moving our city forward. Mayor Rick Ellenball, City Clerk Denise Johnson, City Attorney Tim Meitzen, and your council members from left to right, Paige Hubbard, Landon Reeves, Scott Fredericks, Brittany Bennett, and from right to left, Fred Krug, Julie Hinkle, Chris Poole, and Rob Roberts. Welcome you to the meeting.
Okay, it's now 5:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Nick Baxter to lead us in opening prayer.
Okay, if you will, let us pray. Again, Heavenly Father, the Word says that we've all sinned and fall short of your glory and the payment of sin's death, but you've made a way that we can be forgiven of our sins. And I say that your word says that all call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. The name of the Lord, that is Yeshua, or we know as Jesus. I pray for as always for your divine guidance for this council. I pray for those who serve to protect us here in Batesville and in our surrounding area and county and state, and I pray for all the conflict in the world that's going on. I just pray for your divine intervention, and I know that you have it all in control. And I'm so grateful for the peace that you give to us, because we can say that we know you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Ms. Johnson, would you please verify the roll?
Yes, sir. Ms. Bennett, but I understand she's on her way.
Okay, very good. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Okay, is there a motion to approve the prepared agenda as amended?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, next on the agenda is citizens' comments, and these comments should be no longer than 3 minutes in length and must pertain to city business. Is there anyone in the audience would like to address the council? And this, if you're here for the condemnation hearings, we will give you that opportunity to speak in a few minutes. Okay, we're going ahead and,
We got somebody. Rick,
I'm sorry?
come on. This has to do with the condemnation hearing.
Yeah,
right?
we'll pull you up here in just a few
Just a
minutes.
little bit. Okay.
Yeah, just a few
Okay.
minutes here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's move right into our agenda. First thing on the agenda is Chief Scarborough. Chief of Police, please come forward.
Good afternoon, evening, whatever it is. I talked to the mayor about this morning. Would it be easier for you guys if I emailed you these like a couple weeks before, a week before, whatever? Council
Save
meeting?
paper.
Rob's always about it, yeah. It
Yeah.
would.
It would save paper.
It would save a lot of paper.
Yeah.
Color.
Just to be able to give you guys time to review it before we had a meeting, and you could ask more questions. I have no excuse. I do not know why our calls doubled for the month of October. I can't figure it out unless it was trick-or-treaters or people complaining about them. I don't know. And then the accidents went up. You know, we had 13 more accidents. We had 6 less arrests and 1 less incident report. But then there's a lot of stuff I put on the back of this that we did over the month. So basically a lot of training. So.
Chief, could you talk a little bit about the training? Kind of, I know you guys have been doing quite a bit, so.
Yeah, so one of the trainings we had to do is a CIT training. It's a crisis intervention training. The state mandates that like 20% of the department is certified in CIT training. And we pushed the guys, and we probably got around 90% of the department certified over the last month. And it's a 40-hour course, I believe. So it took a lot of people off the streets to get trained, and then a lot of guys working extra shifts to get it all in. We also had officers go to field training, school, and peer counseling training and stuff like that. So we had a lot done. Then we had the new firearms you guys approved us to buy and stuff. We had to do training on those. Each officer did 2 days, about 500 rounds apiece on those. So they were busy for the month, but we're going to try to slow down the next 2 months and then kick back off in January what we can.
Okay. All right, does anyone have any questions for Chief?
I noticed in your report, you're talking about we're getting those computers installed.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. Everything working as it?
We're still have some communication problems between us submitting the tickets and them going to district court and being identified as Batesville Police Department. It's out of our control. It's something that the state has to do. District court has reached out to them, ASP has reached out to them, and all I can say is it's in the works. We've made all the calls we can to try to get it hurried up, but they don't get in a big hurry apparently. Why this wasn't done sooner, I don't have an answer. We told the court that we were, working on this 6 months ago, and once we got it going, they're like, "Why are you doing these e-tickets?" It's like, we told you we were doing it. So, but other than that, I mean, it's all seems to be working good, other than that one little error. But it's nothing that they can't download in their system.
Chief, I guess I do have a question. I know I texted you and asked you that, and I had another citizen today brought it up. It's about the fluorescent or safety vest or
Right.
whatever for the officers. I know we've had, anytime we got a stoplight out or whatever, and we send an officer out there kind of in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
And have we found anything out there?
Well,
You mentioned something about covering
no.
up the body camera.
Yeah, the
or-
issue we've been having is the old styles is coming up over the cameras. We're trying to find some that zip, so they don't have to zip it all the way, so they don't cover up the cameras. With the new vest that they're wearing, you see Miguel's got one on, all the cameras are mounted in the same spot on these new vests. So to ensure that they're not covering them up, because if we need the camera for evidence or whatever, I don't want it covered up by the
Right.
vest. So we are working. I've actually enlisted Rock to help us find something, because they sell a lot too, and a lot of the sergeants and Captain Fryer and myself, we've all been looking, trying to find something.
Right.
So we're all working on it. We
Yeah,
just- I
and
don't
there
have
could
that
be
solution.
something as far as sleeves. I know you
Could
can't
be.
get sleeves.
I was
Just
worried about-
any reflection will greatly help. I just don't
Yeah.
want to get an officer ran over,
Right,
and that
yeah.
has happened before.
Yeah.
If you guys can remember back a few years ago, when you get blue lights flashing and kind of the blue light flashing and the blindness and
Yeah, some of them are too bright.
yeah, well they are, but
The new vest, the letters.
it is reflective.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think we can have enough.
No,
I
no.
don't think we can have enough. And that's for the protection of, I want them to go home at night, so,
We'll put some
Yeah.
suspenders on some of them barrels.
yeah, there you go. Okay, all right, well, I'm just glad you're checking on it, so.
Yeah, we're working on it,
All right,
boss.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Okay, Mr. Damon Johnson, Public Work Engineer.
There y'all. Okay, I guess first I'll start with the Riverside Park project. Pretty much the same report you've been hearing. We're consistently working. We had meetings today. We're fine tuning that. That's getting near what I would call 100% schematic version, which that's where everything's going to go, what components are going to go there, and all the way down to tree placement in a lot of regards. And so I think that the goal is by early December that plan will be in its stage where then they can dive in and do the final detail, like designs on, and they already have been doing preliminary design on the bathrooms and those kind of things. We've seen some renderings, but they haven't like designed where the plumbing goes and all that stuff yet. So that's kind of the next step that we expect to start in 1st of December. We will do another pricing exercise then as well to ensure that we are in the budget, and that's essentially what's taken us so long to get. We started with what we wanted, and it was $15 million out of our budget, and so then we had to work to try to still get a very great product, but within our $25 million budget. So So we're excited about that. I think the community will be very happy once we get that completed and get ready to start construction there early next year. Next along kind of Parks vein is Main Street project is pretty well done. I mean, they've got to do punch list and go through and find, clean up some things. But all the work is essentially done. I will address this. There's the island out here that's at 6th that feels to protrude out in the street. We are working on getting some signage to put in there that's reflective that people can see. We realize that right now it's invisible and almost, if you're not paying close attention. And I understand this evening, maybe even with the sun low at sunset, it's difficult. There is a AT&T communication box in that island, which was part of the reason why it's as far out as it is. There is more than a lane width from it to the edge of curb on the other side of the street. So there's plenty of room. It's just a little bit more having to drive around it than what drivers are generally used to. I was planning to get with Jeff and Johnny Abbott, potentially whoever's going to be doing the maintenance out there, and maybe we need to plant some shrubbery or some visual thing in that box around that, in that island around that box, so that people can see it, instead of, the curb's 6 inches tall and, lighting conditions are poor or you're just not paying attention. Several people have not noticed it and driven through it. So, we don't want that to happen. But otherwise, Jeff has been working as well to change the light bulbs out. I think he's already communicated that well with, but just to reiterate that, to put a more softer tone of light in those lamps that I think the citizens will find more, appealing than the bright white that came in them. And then moving on, we've got our sanitation department is running 2 grapple trucks as hot and heavy as they can right now. There's Class 4. Seems like it's multiplying. We can't get it picked up fast enough. They're working hard to keep it picked up, and it just people. I don't know if they're doing fall cleaning instead of spring cleaning or what, but I mean, we're seeing furniture, mattresses, lots and lots of stuff being cleaned out of people's houses and just piled up at the curb, which is a service we do provide. But just know, like, when you drive around town and see it, we're aware they're running routes. They're trying to get it picked up. They essentially are running the same routes as the garbage routes. So the day that your garbage is picked up, they're going to pick up Class 4 and leaves on that route. If they don't complete the route, they'll start wherever they stopped the week before. And right now there's so much volume, that's how they have to do it. They can't just bounce around town. One thing on the leaf, we bought the leaf pickup. We bought that fancy leaf truck last year. It's been a fantastic tool. It started having trouble. We sent it. Of course, it's under warranty. There was some kind of manufacturing error which allowed water to get in the transmission. Of course, that's not good for transmissions. Transmission's ruined. We're waiting on a new warranty transmission to be swapped out, and of course that doesn't happen as fast as we want it to. We're about, I think, 3 weeks in. With warranty, they've got to evaluate and do all the stuff before they just do it. But we hope in the next week or two that they'll finish that, get it back to us. So right now we just have the leaf trailer that we're picking up leaves that we've had for a while. So the leaves are going to get behind until we get our leaf truck back up in service, and then it'll make a huge dent quickly. I made notes here, and sometimes I can't read my own writing. Water treatment plant project. We are essentially on ready to do significant amount of work there. They're going to do, and I think I've reported this last time, the first things first, there's a sewer line inside the water plant that's got to be relocated. I kind of expected them to already be working on that. They haven't started yet, but I expect that to be happening soon, starting that very soon. We are, once they complete that, they'll start mass excavation for the nuclear well that's going to be built. And I don't think the mass excavation will start until after the first of the year. They're very aware of the Christmas light, how important that is to our community, and they don't want to disrupt that or, have big dump trucks running through our Christmas lights or anything. So I do anticipate that they're not going to do any major, mobilization or construction work until after the first of the year. But then, once it starts, I think we'll see a lot of work happen very quickly. Along the water treatment plant vein, I discussed a little, Krista's very knowledgeable about, we have been having some interesting water pressure fluctuations in our system. Our crews have been very proactive. We've been out there working, trying to figure it out. It's kind of a weird anomaly that we've experienced recently, and we found some valves and valve controls in the high service pump station, which is part of the existing water treatment plant, that had some pretty major problems. We've done some Band-Aid repairs, what I would call it. We've ordered parts. Of course, we're ordering parts on equipment that's 65 years old, so finding parts has not been easy, but my understanding is we have found the parts and they are ordered. It's going to take a while to get them, but we're going to go ahead and make those repairs. We're spending more money than we really want to on a plant that we want to retire, but we got to keep watering the system and we got to keep the system running appropriately. So, we probably have spent about $300,000 in maintenance this year just on the water treatment plant on unusual repair items. I mean, we're really starting to feel the age of the plant right now, and so we need to get this new thing started and built as fast as we can before it gets to the point where we can't keep the system operating properly, which I'm very confident in our staff and our capabilities to keep everything together and working well.
I'll just say that the issues in my neighborhood have been much improved since the end of last week.
Yeah, well,
So-
I think it was Thursday last week, the last repairs have been made.
Yeah.
And good, I'm glad to hear that. So we hope that it will stay good and we won't have those issues anymore. We're going to keep a close eye on it, now that clearly we've, the initial problem that we reported, it was a little bigger than what we realized. But now that we know all the components involved that were affecting the water pressure dips and spikes, we can keep a very, very close eye on them. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think we've been doing interviews. Nick, who did the opening prayer for us is near retirement, so we'll celebrate him at one of these meetings maybe early next year. But we've been doing interviews looking for someone to replace him. We're hoping by the end of this week. We got 14 applicants, which was good, and I hope by the end of this week we can kind of put that to bed and go after a candidate or two and see if we can't get somebody on staff to spend some time with Nick before he goes fishing or whatever he's going to get to go do. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. One more project. We have a sewer rehab project that we're trying to get off the ground as well. That's really the last significant amount of work associated with the consent administrative order on the sewer system. We as part of that, we bundled it in, is crossing the highway out on the East Main with water and sewer for the industrial site. And we expect that portion of this project to go first. We'll probably see that work start early next year. And then the sewer rehab work, or it might be, March or so before we actually see. And when I say sewer rehab, what that means is there's probably be a little bit of line replacement, but a lot of what we call in situ, where they basically take an existing line that's not in very good shape, and they can run a fiberglass line on the inside of it and bake it in, and then we have a new line essentially, and we don't have to dig up the whole world to do that. You do lose a little bit of capacity, but when our lines are big enough, then we can do that, and it doesn't harm the system. And with that, we'll also do a bunch of refurbishments to the manholes on those same sections. So we'll start seeing crews, probably early next year, bouncing around town doing that work, which hopefully will satisfy our consent order, and the state will relieve us of that maybe in a few years. I think that's all I have. I should type all that up, I guess, and give you all a report like John does. But I'm not sure I know it all until I get up here.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Any other questions? Thank you,
Okay,
Damon.
thank y'all.
Appreciate it. You can tell that our city engineer's been quite busy, a lot of projects going on. Okay, next on the agenda is a public hearing, discuss several properties for condemnation. And right now, we're going to start our public hearing. It is 5:51 p.m. and the public hearing is now open. So at this time, I'd like to ask our Code Enforcement Officer, Mr. Chad McClure, to come forward to kind of give us some information on these properties. We are going to let you come up and speak on behalf of your property. And like I said, this is a condemnation hearing. And so we'll hear all of them, and then we'll move into a resolution. So I think the first is, Chad, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. I know we've got 3 properties right there on, so if you want to kind of give us some background on those 3 properties, and then we'll have the owners or...
Yes, absolutely, and Mayor and Council, I'll start off and also speak into the property owners that's here. This is a condemnation proceeding. This is a process, and tonight what is presented before the council is a resolution for condemnation. And it's a public hearing, and of course anyone's allowed to speak and comment. And should the resolution be passed and the property is formally condemned, and there is still additional time to work on the property, abate the property. It's not, we're going to show up tomorrow and start tearing demolition. It's a process, but it is a formal process. And this is the first step of condemnation tonight. And I will like to say, as our staff, we do take our neighborhoods very seriously. Besides aesthetics of the neighborhoods, the health and the safety of the neighborhoods. There's living in the city, owning property in the city of Batesville. There are standards besides subdivision, zoning. There's building codes, fire codes, etc. And there's codes on grass, trash cans, automobiles, and we have codes and standards that are to be adhered to own and maintain property in the city of Batesville. I will lead off to this. This ordinance is the condemnation ordinance. It spells out the process which we're in, and it basically, if it's okay, if I just read just a quick couple of sentences. The existence of nuisance unlawful. Definition of: it shall be and is hereby declared to be unlawful for any person, persons, partnership, corporation, or association to own, keep, maintain any house, building, or structure within the corporate limits of the city of Batesville which constitutes a nuisance and which is found and declared to be a nuisance by resolution of the city council, which is what we're submitting tonight. In determining whether a structure is a hazard to the public safety and health, the following criteria shall be considered: major components of the structure are missing, such as doors, windows, walls, or roof. Structures left unlocked, is unattended, or vacant. The structure is not being built under active repair, or the structure is not an outbuilding, an accessory building, or used for storage. And so that is primarily the gist of the condemnation definition, what we're looking at. And I will say, it mentions throughout the ordinance and more things, nuisance. Okay? A nuisance is a problem, it's annoyance, we've had complaints. And there's backstories and different variables for all of these properties. But one thing remains the same, there's been nuisance. In fact, several of these properties, we were here almost 4 years ago exactly for the exact same condemnation for these properties. And here we are again. And not only has things not been done, some of them are worse than they were 4 years ago. And that's, I reiterate that the mayor and staff, we take our neighborhoods very seriously. And we can start, I believe you're going to start the public hearing with certain properties and then close it and then go to the next and one by one. So any questions you have for me, let me know.
Okay, will do. Okay, let's go ahead and start. And the first properties, I think the owner has three here: 467 River Street, 441 River Street, and 577 Bio Street. If you would, sir, just come forward, and if you could just identify yourself, give us your name, and we'll move forward.
All right, so my name is Bill Sanders. I'm from Rapid City, South Dakota. I became aware of this about 4 weeks ago, so we came in this week. I came in this weekend, and we've made some major progress on the cleanup. If you want to take a look at those. I'm in the process of moving all of these properties out of my mom's name and into a family trust, and I'll be responsible by the end of this year going forward to maintain them and or tear them down. I have current quotes that are coming in this week, both on the restoring of 577, because that's been about half repaired inside.
That's on Bio Street.
That's the Bio Street address. It's all needs siding and windows and all the other stuff put back into it. And everything else, we're looking at actually just condemning it, tearing it down. So I should have quotes on those by the end of this week. And I should be legally responsible for all this by the end of the year.
So 577 Bio, that's going to be renovated or pulled down?
That'll be renovated.
Okay.
Because the construction's already done inside.
Okay.
A large part of it.
And then the 441 and 460 River is just to be demolished?
The Rock House, which is
yes,
about 441, I'm actually, because it is rock, we're looking at what it's going to cost to both tear it down and or finish it out inside. The one on the corner, we're just looking at getting it torn down altogether.
And that's 467?
467. Okay. I should have that quote by tomorrow.
467 is going to be. 467, yeah.
Okay. And I just handed Ms. McClure the photos of all the work we've done this weekend to get it at least looking a lot better on the outside.
Go check them.
You want to pass those around? Sure. Thank you. So we just appreciate a little consideration around time to get those taken care of. And apologize for the state that they're in.
Well, we definitely greatly appreciate you taking time to come down here and address the council.
You bet.
So appreciate that.
Happy to do it.
So where are we at now? Questions or?
Yeah, we are. We're passing these bys where he's already showing some of the improvements that he's made on.
Which ones are we talking about?
This one is renovating.
Yeah.
And this one he's tearing down.
No, this one is tearing.
No, that's not. These-
Will the property on Bayou
I
Street,
thought it would be helpful to see.
Yep.
will the property on Bayou Street become a rental?
It is probably going to become a rental, or my mother may actually move into it. My childhood home is next door on the 547, so.
Okay, that's right behind my.
We're actually put that one in there with the extra wide hallways and, you know, just in case.
Chad, I know you talked a little bit about the condemnation procedure. Explain what is next with the property once, if a condemnation is passed on a property. What's our general protocol as to the amount of time, perhaps, that a property owner has to bring the property back up to code?
That's a very good question, and our ordinance does not give exact time, so that's going to be subjective, and what we need to factor into it is there an immediate health, is there a danger to the public?
Mm-hmm.
If we feel that, hey, it's not a danger, it's secure, then we can consider that into time, additional time to work with the property owners to have it, that's our goal, to have it, we don't want an empty house, to have it habitable, occupied. And, that's just something that we really work with the property owners on a case-by-case scenario.
So that's at your discretion once it's passed?
I like to consult the mayor and staff and
Sure,
keep
sure.
them in the loop, but we just take all the variables involved. The safety of the building is the number one priority. If we feel like, it's not an imminent danger, then that gives us more flexibility in working with property owners.
Do you feel like any of these are danger right now?
They appear to be secure and stable right now.
I know we're just talking about the three of these, but you talked about earlier, 4 years ago, these same houses came before the council?
Some.
So can you tell, because I wasn't here 4 years ago, so I'm just curious as to which ones we're revisiting.
These were.
Okay.
These were here, these were about 4 years ago, and I mentioned some backstories, and I'm not gonna speak on that, but I think there was some instances that happened with contractors and mishaps and things like that.
Well, I know one of these, yeah, it was like almost about to be torn down, and then they started working on it, and then it just stopped, so, because that's only because I know that because it's in my neighborhood.
Yeah, 577 was stopped because the contractor was charged over 600, or over six figures to be working on that house and finishing it, and he didn't do near the work he was charging for, and he got
Gotcha.
fired.
Gotcha.
And we had a whole lawsuit over it.
Right.
I was not aware that it was undertaking under a condemnation order at the time.
I got you.
And I
Okay.
was, peripherally involved in the lawsuit. That was it.
Okay.
If you want to know who not to work with, just call me.
Yeah.
Happy to provide that information.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions for Mr. Sanders? If not, we will definitely take all this under consideration, and like I
appreciate
said, we're definitely here to, to work with you, and again, thank you for traveling
I appreciate
here
it.
to
Thank you very much.
Batesville to.
Appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move to the fourth property, is 715 North Central. And we have representatives from there. Please come forward and kind of give us a little update. Is this the former Krause?
Yes.
Krause Cleaners, isn't it? So,
And this one actually has two photographs. This building is much more concerning with public health and safety. There's no ceiling in part of the building, you can kind of see through there. So there, definitely we get into structural deficiencies and concerns with this property.
There's a bunch of stuff out in front of it too on one end. It's pretty junky.
yeah.
There's actually a car inside. I'm not sure how that car got in there.
One piece at a time.
Yeah.
Ok, dile que el techo yo lo tumbé porque los aires estaban cayendo.
Okay.
De hecho, yo tumbé el techo porque yo lo estaba arreglando poco a poco. Y el techo que está tirado adentro fue lo que se cayó cuando boté el techo de arriba.
Okay. So he recently bought this property or had everything finalized and switched to his name in August, so he's slowly starting to work on it. He says that the ceiling, some of it was falling because I guess it had like an air vent or some kind of system up there, and it was just causing it to, like, I guess, start falling itself because of it. So he just decided to, I guess, tear the ceiling down, and he's slowly working on rebuilding it.
Do you know what type of a time frame that, as far as for completion or the work or?
Dice que si usted tiene como un estimado en cuánto tiempo va a durar para terminar el edificio.
Más o menos 5 meses.
He says more or less like 5 months. And he's, no sé si quiera enseñar eso también. He's kind of like drawn up his plans on how to remodel it because he, I guess, like I said, he just purchased it and he obviously wasn't the owner whenever the conditions started, so he would have been able to prevent that. So he's got like a little sketch, and he's got plans to replace the doors, replace that ceiling, add new doors, new windows, and yeah, just kind of start working on what's wrong with
So
it.
it's gonna be a car
What's it gonna be?
garage?
¿Y qué es lo que quiere hacer?
Ok, yo tengo un garage en la parte de central. Tengo un taller en arriba, en la EU1 North Central. I have the shop there, but it's a little small. And I try to move it to the other place because it's more bigger.
Okay, just relocate your shop. Yeah, space, okay.
And,
What kind of
dile que
shop?
las paredes están buenas, no es concreto, están firmes.
He said since the building is like mostly brick, then the walls are pretty sturdy and strong, stable from what he knows. So I think the main problem and the issue would just be replacing the doors and then that ceiling, which he started to work on. And I guess it's also going into like doing his research, because you want to do your research before you invest in anything and really properly buy anything. So that's also probably why he hasn't really got much work done on it. But he's starting to fix it.
Chad, were you aware that this property, like he just purchased this, is that?
It was on our, actually, the fire chief and I, earlier, before they purchased it, there was an incident where there was a possible homeless person that was in there that had a fire lit in the building. And so we basically, our follow-up routine inspection realized the shape that it was in, and then it was under a different name. It sold sometime after that. And they have been very cooperative. They, as soon as they received the notice, they reached out to me. But that is one concern is being open. We need to really make sure that it gets secure and locked up as soon as possible.
Okay, I guess you heard, they really want it secured so people cannot go in and.
Dice que un tiempo antes de que lo compró usted, ellos se dieron cuenta que había como alguien sin casa quedándose allí. Entonces lo que quieren ahorita es que pongan seguro para que no pueda entrar nadie. Porque a ese tiempo estaban haciendo una fogata para que no les dé frío o algo así. Pero nomás no quieren que entre alguien y que se quede allí por la condición que está.
De hecho, ya de que llegó el oficial, creo que está acá, enfrente de él, ya habló con las personas y ya no han llegado ahí.
Okay, he said he had someone go over there, a police officer. He thinks it's Officer Romero over there. And ever since then, he hasn't had anyone like show up in there or try to stay in there because I think he realized that as well.
But can someone get in there if Officer Romero's not around?
Okay, dice que si la policía no está ahí o alguien que para asegurarse que no puedan entrar, si es posible entrar.
Ah, no. Solamente por el techo de arriba, pero no.
He says only if they went through the roof or the non-existent roof, I mean.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just going to throw this out, is being a commercial building is a little different category, the way we look at building codes and fire codes. And so if we are going to work to give you additional time to make repairs, we're going to have a licensed contractor professional involved to go in and look and just make sure the work is gonna be adequate. Would you have a problem with that?
Dice que como es un edificio comercial, las reglas son un poco diferentes y con este instante que preferían si dejan que, ¿cómo se dice? Que lo arreglaran, que quieren como alguien más como con
¿Profesional?
sí, profesional a trabajar y que si usted tuviera problema con eso.
No.
He said no.
Okay, do we have any other questions from the council?
So how exactly would this work? So say we decide we're gonna give him X amount of time. Do we go through with the condemning order, or do we hold off? Or
We
how does
go
this
ahead
work?
and actually, in the past, we have gone ahead and gone through with the condemnation, and then we monitor these, our code enforcement as well as us ourselves need to continue to monitor these and see what the progress is. And if we do not feel like that this is, then we'll just say, okay, we've given them, their due process, and it's taken way too long. Of course, I know 4 years is a long time, and of course, that was kind of during the COVID, kind of everything kind of slowed down. So we will stay on top of these this time, especially since this is the second go-around for several of them.
That's kind of what I was getting at with the question, in that, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is the condemnation gives Chad and his folks and you the authority to move forward at their discretion when the time is appropriate.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we condemn it, is the city responsible for the price of condemning it?
Actually, if the city, what the protocol would be there, then Chad would notify them and tell them that it is time the building needs to be torn down, and they would have the first opportunity to have a contractor to come in and remove it. And if that is not the case, then the city of Batesville would take their workforce and they would do the complete demolition and take the building down, all the way down to the slab, and they would place a lien on, and we have a formula that we use for equipment and our manpower, and then we would put that on their real estate.
And that's
That's what we
after,
tax
in y'all's estimation,
Yeah, that is correct.
sufficient time
Yes.
has
Yes.
happened and
Right.
we're not getting anywhere.
That's correct, that's correct. It's not gonna happen in, next week, 30 days or anything like that. We're gonna be respectful enough to give, our citizens that opportunity to step up and do the right thing. So, okay, I think we've got all the information we need on that one, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next is the fifth property is 1065 East Boswell Street. Chad, I'll let you give us there, and then I will make a comment on this one. This one also, I got a phone call from the realtor today, and they were about to list this piece of property. So if you want to go ahead and come forward, then we'll kind of give a little feedback from Chad. But Chad will go ahead, and then I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, 1065 East Boswell Street. This is one that we had here 4 years ago at that condemnation hearing, and we've continued to receive complaints, and I've had a nice conversation with Miss King recently, and I know she's been there doing some work.
Yeah, I have
and,
pictures.
But
This is what it looks like today, after we've been there all day. And we cleaned out the fence row on both sides of the house.
So
There's
there-
the fence row.
So there's been some progress made today, but I know from that original hearing, I know I've had complaints. I know the mayor's received complaints on the neglect of the structure. And I have not trespassed, been in there, but that's one concern. Is vacant properties, if someone has been in there, is there someone in the, and that's a concern for the neighborhoods as well as having property that's not occupied. But it's,
Ms. King, did I say that correctly, that you are listing the property for sale? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Through Weigert Realty.
Okay, all right,
I talked to Hayes and Bill Olson today,
okay.
and they've called me back, and they have worked on some numbers and stuff, and they're getting us some numbers for some dumpsters, where we can have a dumpster delivered over there to finish part of the outside progress and get the house cleaned up around the outside. And they said something about us having maybe 45 to 60 days with that process.
Yes, like I said, if we see that work, see the dumpster and going, I think that will be enough for Chad. And then if the real estate sign goes in front of it and it sells, then I guess it'll be a win-win for everyone.
Definitely.
Yes.
So you
And
think
Bill-
45 to 60 days of cleanup is what is that what you're thinking?
That was what Hayes had said that she had talked about today, and I think Bill had made a phone call, and that was what they had kind of talked about, was 2 to 3 months or somewhere in that range, where it doesn't just sit there a whole lot longer than it already has.
Okay. Okay, any other questions from the council?
What are the concerns with this particular property? Is it anything structural or?
well, besides going back to my nuisance comment, that you can tell in the front porch, there's a sag in the porch. What utilities are on?
The electricity.
Electricity only, so we have electricity to an unoccupied house that's vacant, they live out of town. There's, some concerns with fire hazard. There was.
The other people trying to live in it?
I don't trespass, but the neighbors, the brush had grown over on across the fence into their yard.
Yeah, we talked to the neighbor today. And from what we can understand with the neighbor is we cleared the brush off of the fence row today, and they're complaining about there being a tree that's on our property that's grown over their garage. But there's no way for us to get up there to cut that down because it's a huge tree.
Yeah, you'd have to
But we
hire-
did
hire-
give them the permission, if they wanted to have that cut down, we've given them the permission to cut anything down that they deem necessary for them to be safe on their side of the fence.
Ms. King, how long have you owned the property? How long have you owned this property?
About 5 years.
Okay. So were you present at the original condemnation
No, I
hearing?
was not. I didn't know about it.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, council? Okay, thank you, Ms. King, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, next property, sixth property is 250 Hawkins Street. Yeah, Please come, please come forward, yeah. Mr. Caldwell? Chad, you want to give us a kind of a segue into this?
This is one, we were here 4 years ago for
4 years?
condemnation. Yes, sir.
Boy, I don't even hardly, you can't see the broke window.
Broke windows, well, again, I can't see that anything's been done in 4 years
Yeah,
on it.
and what's not broke, the thieves got a hold of it.
What's your plan for it?
Man, my son, we're wanting to put it back together.
Okay. Do you have a time frame?
He asked me to ask y'all, could we, before anything happened to it, they've been floors replaced, ceilings replaced, that's in the 3 bedrooms and the ceilings. And now I didn't think anything was be stolen. But we went home one night, came back, the air conditioner was gone, the 100-foot cord was gone, bunch of stuff. And we was gonna, on his days off, we were gonna fix it. 'Cause they already got 3 floors finished and the ceilings and some walls. If y'all could just come by and look at it or whatever, then give us so long to get it done.
How's the roof on the structure?
It needs a tin, we're gonna put a tin roof on it.
Is this what it looks like currently, Chad?
That was taken today.
Today? Okay, that's what I was.
Did you see the,
4 years, have you, how long have you owned this property?
I've owned it about 30-something years.
Okay.
So what's been done, Chad, from 4 years ago to today?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I know we've had complaints with the yard has been grown up in the summer, which is, I mean, that's a different code, but windows are broke out and, we get into what can happen with vacant houses. That's a risk. You get in there, that's a
Especially
health
with
and
winter.
safety to the neighborhood.
Winter is coming and it's a situation.
Right.
I don't know if they would stop getting in it or what, them little, I don't know who it was, but anything valuable they got. Had an attic fan, they couldn't get through the rafters. I went back over today to get it down and it was gone.
So is your son gonna end up taking over this property? Or are you gonna continue to maintain it?
Do what?
You said your son was gonna be helping you work on the property. Is he gonna be taking it over at any point?
Yeah,
He is.
I was gonna maybe get it fixed up and give it to my son. They just wanted me to see if we could fix it up. It looks real bad, all that, but when my wife died, we just moved up my mother-in-law's house. It burnt. And you don't live in it every day, you just kind of forget about it. And next thing you know, they was getting in it. And we went over there and fixed a few things, and they were getting in it again. I thought, I don't know.
His son did, was it Nick, your son? Trying to remember who I spoke with.
Nicholas?
Yes, Nicholas. I spoke to him on November 1st, and he did indicate that they would like to try to renovate and repair. And of course, I asked him, I said, we would really, speaking for the council, like to have an estimate, a timeline.
Yeah.
When to start.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
cost estimates? Have you talked to any contractors?
I don't know what happened. It must have been a tornado went over that house and just sat there. Because 3 or 4 big old trees fell. There's one tree left. It's in the, laying out there in the yard. Straight as a string. It's a maple tree.
Does this house have utilities turned on? No utilities.
Okay. And the best I can remember, it seemed like the late Melvin Hawkins was assisting you there for a while.
Yeah.
In this house, and I know Melvin passed away, but I
Yeah.
know Melvin
I was
at that time
talking.
was trying to help you, do
Yeah, he was a good guy. Anyway, there's Gary Riggs. You know him?
Yes, sure do. Yeah.
I've got working on the estimate with him.
Okay. All right.
And Nick, he knows a lot of guys down at Colton's, and he's gonna talk to somebody in there.
He, if you would relay to him that, he filed a complaint on a neighbor behind them and telling them we're dealing with it, and they're gonna be right here, sitting where you are, if they don't take care of it.
Who's that?
Your neighbor behind you.
Boy, good luck.
Okay, any other questions, Mr. Caldwell? Okay, thank you, and I think mainly is they're wanting a time frame, so sooner the better you guys can get started on it. So appreciate you coming, and we'll go ahead and move to the next one.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, the seventh property is 2230 Neely Street.
Yes, sir.
And Chad, while they're coming up, if you want to kind of give us a background on this piece of property and.
Absolutely. This is 2230 Neely Street. The picture is not great, but it's a yellow vinyl siding house. There's abandoned unoperated cars there. And I assumed it was a vacant house, and on the inspection, I will say it's in Bobby Hall's name, who's your mother.
Yeah, she was my mother.
She passed away as deceased, and I met this daughter. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Janet.
Janet. And she told me the backstory on her situation and being there. And of course, you drive by and well, the yard needs work, there's non-operating cars, the carport, the ceiling's falling in, and we talked about that, and she had some issues with, not even owning the house. And I hope you've been working to try to get that clarified.
I've already started working on the yard and getting the yard cleaned up. I've got most of it done in the front yard. I've got a front yard and a backyard. And I'm gonna get the backyard I'm working on it every day. And as soon as I get what I'm able to do done, then I'm gonna get a tree contactor in there to remove the other trees that I'm not able to handle myself, because there's some other trees and stuff that need to be removed and trim back and stuff. So I will be getting to that as soon as possible. The car that's in the yard, I've already contacted Chica Pen, and they're gonna be coming out Friday to pick that up and remove it from the yard. The one that's under the carport, it belonged to my mother. The other car is mine, but this one belonged to my mother. And
Two cars.
I have an attorney appointment on a probate on November 25th. And if he says it's okay for me to just go ahead and have it towed off without going through probate and everything, I will call and have that one come and pick that one up too. If we have to go to probate, it may be a little bit longer before I can get that one done. The carport roof, we're going to be starting on that the week of Thanksgiving. And it shouldn't take over a week or two to get that roof completed.
It's 2 to 3 days, but my brother's gonna do it, and he works for the fire department here in town. And he works building houses, so he'll have to do it on the weekends or his days off, but he is starting it next week.
Okay.
So are you living in this house now? You
Yes.
are living there currently, okay.
Is that a blue roof?
Brown.
It's brown roof? Somebody called me about blue roof.
And I'm not sure if the carport roof is definitely replaced, but I'm gonna get somebody out there to look on the other roof and see if it needs replaced also. And if it does need replaced also, I will be having somebody replace that one too. I don't have any leaks anywhere in the house, so I don't know if it needs it or not, but if it does need it, I will get it replaced.
Ma'am, were you able to get water service?
I can't, because the house is not in my name until we get through this probate thing to see if I can get something from him that allows me to come get the water turned on, that I cannot get it turned on in my name because of the probate issue. But if I can get something from the attorney, they said then I could bring that down there, then I could get the water turned on.
Okay, any other questions from the council?
How long have you been living here? Has it been a while?
Yeah.
Thank you, and we'll take all that into consideration, and we'll continue to monitor that 2230 Neely. Okay, next is the 8th property, is 1465 Edith Street.
This right here, the property owners, they came in the office last week, and it was about it was a house fire, and there was about half of it that was charred, framing members that was left, and since they received the notice, they have been busy, and they've got everything down to the concrete slab right now. And they said that they would not be able to be at the meeting tonight due to work, but they would, they said, give them some more time and they'll get the rest of it cleaned up. Their plan.
Okay, thank you, Chad. All right, the next property is 431 River Street.
We're going back to River Street and and this is right in line with the Sanders houses that we started off the meeting with. And small house, there's actually two that you own right next to each other. And one of them is, we only put condemnation for one. The other one is not occupied either, but to me, it looked to be in satisfactory condition. But this one is boarded up, obviously vacant, not under repair. So that's why we put this along with the others there on River Street for condemnation.
So it is actually, my dad is the one that's usually, when he has time, he's been the one that's been working on the house. But he recently, he kind of stopped for a little bit, so he's trying to put new windows on. He took everything, like the whole front out, and that's why he boarded up, because he's trying to put new windows, two new windows, and then the door on the front. But it's taken him a little while to get that, trying to save us some money, because that's what he does, so he's trying to work in his free time.
Do you have an idea on the timeline?
I'm gonna say maybe if you give us three to 4 months, put the windows and the door,
And then it would be habitable at that point, the inside is?
Probably just the outside right now. Have the windows and then it's gonna take a little more work inside,
So it would still be vacant?
It'll still be vacant, yeah.
Okay, any other questions from the council?
So is this house newly added to the list, or was it also?
This has not been under condemnation before.
Okay.
This is our first.
Okay.
Is there any utilities?
Yeah, we have the
to it
light
now?
on. So,
There's
so when
electricity in it?
electricity on, so when he works, then he has electricity to work with it.
That's metered to this property, or is it a cord run from somewhere else?
Yeah, it's for both properties.
Okay, anything else from the council? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there being no further discussion, we will close the public hearing. It is 6:32 PM. And we'll move to the resolution for condemnation. We will do each one of these individually, and we will move forward with 467 River Street. Would someone like to introduce the resolution? I will. Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
Second.
Second. Council, please cast your votes.
I did. It didn't let me do anything.
Okay. Motion carries.
Okay. Mr. Meissen?
Yes, sir. A resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance and for other purposes.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Council, please cast your votes.
Motion carries.
441 River Street. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I will.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your vote, council.
Yes.
Landon, yours didn't work, sorry. Okay.
Okay, any discussion? If not, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Please cast your votes. Okay, would someone like to, this is 577 Bible Street. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I will.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
I'm sorry, who?
Fred.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes, council.
Yeah, just reading it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Meinson, would you please read the resolution by title only?
Yes, sir. A resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance and for other purposes.
Any discussion? If not, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes. Okay, number 4.
Hang on just a minute. So,
Yeah, did you get your?
we've got 3 no's. Okay, motion carries.
Okay. All right, number 4, 715 North Central Avenue. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I will.
Okay.
Who's that?
What number, Mayor?
Number 4, 715 North Central.
Okay.
Who made that? I'm sorry.
Either one of us,
Fred.
we both said it.
Yeah. flip
Doesn't
on
matter.
it. Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Meitzen?
Sir, a resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance and for other purposes.
Any discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes. (1065) East Boswell Street. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Meitzen?
Yes, sir. A resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance and for other purposes.
Any discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes, council. Okay, 250 Hawkins Street. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I will.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Please cast your votes. Mr. Meitzen?
Sir, a resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance and for other purposes.
Is there any discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes, council. Okay, 2230 Neely Street. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I will.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes. Okay,
Resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance and for other purposes.
any discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes. Property number 8, 1465 Edith Street. Okay. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I will.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please cast your votes, council. Okay, Mr. Meissen?
Sir, a resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance, and for other purposes.
Any discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Council, please cast your votes. Okay, last property, 431 River Street. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I will.
Is there a motion to read the resolution by title only?
So moved.
Motion a second. Please cast your votes. Mr. Meissen?
A resolution condemning the structure described herein, declaring a nuisance, and for other purposes.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Please cast your votes. Okay, next on the agenda is an executive session to consider a appointment for and discussion of an employee. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, we're in executive session.
Every morning begins with progress. Finding the new jobs and opportunities that keep the city and its residents moving forward. And we're leading the charge. Negotiating with potential businesses or building streets to their new facilities. A better life starts in the city limits. Arkansas's municipal communities improve our quality of life every day. This moment brought to you by your hometown. Great cities make a great state.
Julie, take me home. I just realized I have to be able. I forgot.
I'll slow down. But what I forgot is something about taking people.
You have to walk me.
What time? We there.
Okay, we have some, having a couple of appointments, and I'll go ahead and start with our Public Facilities Board. Do we have a recommendation or actually a reappointment?
Yeah, I have a nomination for Cord Davidson as a reappointment to a 5-year term to our Public Facilities Board.
Okay, so we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of reappointment to Mr. Cord Davidson signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. And the other one is our Airport Commission reappointment.
Yes, we have a reappointment proposed for Mr. Grant Goodwin for a period of 5 years at the Airport Commission.
Okay. So a motion and a second. Mr. Fredericks, any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, next on the agenda is, of course, is the financials. And if you guys have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to let me know. And I'm going to move right into mayor comments. Next month, of course, Thanksgiving is next month, but, next week. We've got, I would like to have a budget meeting with everyone on the 10th and follow up with a city council meeting on December 10th, and then the council meeting on December the 17th. If everybody's in agreement with that, if I could possibly get a motion.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second to have our next council meeting on the 17th of December.
What time do you want budget?
Let's do it 5:30. Yeah, let's do it 5:30. Okay, and also, I know in the past, we have worked with incentive for our employees, and I have to say that we've got some very dedicated employees that really work hard, and we try to take care of our employees. And I think Mr. Krug, I think you've been working with some of the finance department, and
Yes,
I think you have some numbers, and
I visited with the mayor and the city clerk, and the numbers have been verified, and the funds are available for end of the year bonuses for employees. They've done a great job. Every department has been understaffed one time or another, and this is what we did last year for them, and I'd like to make a motion, we do the same thing for them this year. And I'll make it quick as I can, because I know it's been a long meeting. Full-time employees with 1,000 more hours get $1,500. Full-time employees who work 500 to 999 get $750. Full-time employees who work 100 to 499 gets $375. Now, also, permanent part-time employees have worked 100 to 499 get $187.50. Permanent part-time employees who work 500 to 599 hours get $375. Permanent part-time employees who have worked 1,000 plus hours get $750s. The hours will be tabulated from January 1st to November 1st and approved. And if approved, the employees will receive their checks on November 27th in time for Black Friday sales. And I've talked to Donna, and she says there'll be no problem doing it. So I'd like someone, I'm making a motion that we do this.
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor for, not bonuses, but incentives. Yeah, pay incentives. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
Okay, let's move on to liaison reports. Council comments, Ms. Johnston?
Ms. Bennett? None. Back up here. Mr. Fredericks?
None.
Ms. Hinkle?
None.
Ms. Hubbard?
None.
Mr. Krug?
None.
Mr. Poole?
Just one. I had a concern that was raised by a business owner down on the lower end of Maine, the block with the Melba Theater on it, and I suppose this may be an issue for the police department, about the use of handicap spaces, or rather the misuse of those used by people who should not be parking in those spaces. So I don't know if we can keep an eye on that, or but yeah, much appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Reeves?
None.
Mr. Roberts?
None.
Okay, there being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, guys. It's been a long meeting.
This concludes our meeting tonight. The mayor and city council thanks you for tuning into the meeting. Our air times are Monday 7 p.m., Thursday 6 p.m., Friday 11:30 a.m., and all other days 4 p.m. Again, our city council says thank you and good night.